and welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special day. Here I have my spiritual advisor and really good friend, Bailey. She is here today to talk to me about all things universal and all things about love and spirituality. She is one of the very first people who introduced me to getting my tarot cards read, having letters from the universe sent to me, and I'm so excited to get to share her with you all. So make sure, before we get started, that you follow her this way, that you follow her down here, Tarot with Bailey on Instagram. She does readings at donation prices, so go give her some love, you guys. So a little bit of background about Bailey and I. I actually was introduced to Bailey through our mutual friend Brittany. She needed a babysitter for, I don't know why, just a random night, and I wasn't doing anything. So I said, I'll go babysit this girl. Yeah, I babysit kids, and her daughter is the cutest thing ever. She has 2 kitty cats. I hung out, did nothing really, just hung out with her kid for a few hours, and then that was it. So that's how I got to be introduced to Bailey. So, Bailey, if you want to talk about how you got started on your own spiritual journey, that can kick off the podcast here.
I've been on a spiritual journey for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
What I kind of want to focus on is like my spiritual awakening. So that happened in about the fall of 2018. Right before all that, everything was kind of crumbling around me. I was losing my friends. I was only left with people who were abusing like my kindness and my generosity. I was having like car troubles and financial troubles.
Mm-hmm.
The whole works.
Just lots of issues
And
all around.
right. And with all of that came like these great, like big panic attacks. I couldn't breathe. I'd have to pull over on the side of the road, catch my breath. I had to call my husband and be like, I need your help. You need to come get me. It
Were
was like a
they
mess.
like provoked by anything, or was it just
Just like stress. I'd just be
okay,
driving and like
just
thinking about my
overwhelmed?
everyday life and we're done.
Yeah.
So finally, he was like, look, you're having way too many of these panic attacks, sometimes twice a day, at least 3 times a week. We
Mm-hmm.
need to get them under control. You need to go see someone. So me doing what I do, I get on Google. I'm like, therapist near me. And I found this, lady that was a couple miles away, and I went to go start seeing her, and we're having pretty frequent sessions, like once a week. And it was probably like our 4th session in. I was complaining about like my work day and how everything was going, and she stopped me mid-sentence and she's like, hey Bailey, sorry to cut you off, like I totally don't do this, very rude of me, but why are you doing this to yourself? I'm like dumbfounded. I'm like,
Yeah.
why'd you do this? And
You're like, what am I doing? What?
yeah. So she's like, okay, like not to freak you out, but you feel like you're different than everyone else who comes into my office. You're different than my other patients. I can feel your energy. So you'll be more accepting of what I'm about to teach you. So I'm like, all right, like I have nothing to lose at this point. And she's like, let me tell you about the law of attraction. And she's like, and this is, the the belief that what you put out is what you get back, good, bad, everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole session, we spent the like next 45 minutes talking about the law of attraction. I just like absorbed all of it. And as
Beautiful.
soon as I walked out that door, I sat in my car and I like put on a law of attraction YouTube video and I listened to it the whole way home so I can just fully encompass it. And that was when everything just like clicked. I realized I can control my own reality,
Mm-hmm.
and that, this was an awakening that I needed.
That is incredible. I can't tell you how many times like I've read it in my own books. You're in control, and I go, oh, okay, yeah, and I don't do that. So that's incredible that you were just like, yes, okay, I am in control. That's great. I love that.
From that point to a year later, I changed everything completely around. So no more car troubles, no more financial hardships. Every like goal I had on my vision board has been achieved, and it's amazing what you can do with it.
I love that. Congratulations on that. I'm so happy to hear that. What was on your vision board that you were the most proud of?
Wanting to stay at home. So, like, I mean, you've sat with my daughter. She's a pretty fun little one. So I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom again.
Mhm.
You know, we had tried it once, but the financial stuff had came up. So then I had to go back to work and work 2 jobs when my husband was working 2 jobs just to try to make ends meet. So my main goal was to be able to stay at home with her. And now I do.
That is awesome. I'm so proud of you for that. Most people think that just being a stay-at-home mom is like could be boring or something like that, but it's like why would you not want to be home with your babies? Like why would you not want to be there for the most precious years of their lives? So, that's
Right.
awesome that you got to achieve it. How old is your daughter now?
She's almost 4.
Oh my gosh. So cute. I still remember she had like super short curly hair and she was wearing like purple pants and a pink shirt and stuff. She was real cute.
That short curly hair is now super long that you brush it out. It's like mid back.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then it like shrinks up because it's all curly.
Yeah. I see her on Facebook all
She's
the
so
time.
fun.
She's adorable. So I know that there's tons of ways that lots of people get to I call it my higher self is the person that I think speaks to me kind of. So
Mhm.
what is it that you do in your day-to-day routines to be able to connect to that being, that spirit?
Meditation. Let me tell you, meditation was the key to me connecting with my higher self and hearing her and understanding her.
Mhm.
So, after seeing the therapist, she, recommended meditation so I can kind of keep my mind straight. And I thought I was doing it wrong the whole time because
Mhm.
I would always still have these voices going on. I had these chatters and like I couldn't silence it. And one day it kind of
Hi, kitty cat.
um and one day I had this thought and it was like, go check the sink. And I was like, okay, this is weird.
You're like,
So
shh,
yeah,
shh,
so I'm
I'm
like, no, 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 it's
meditating.
fine, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with the sink. And I
Mhm.
kept trying to meditate and I sat there for a little bit trying to like silence all my thoughts because that's what I thought it was, no thinking at all.
Mhm.
And it happened again. It said, go check the sink. So I got up and I went to go check the sink and I realized the water was still running and that it was going to overfill. So
Dang.
from that moment on, I was like, okay, these little voices
We
is
gotta
someone else
listen.
talking to me. It's
Mhm.
me talking to myself about what I should do. So now during meditation, I observe those thoughts. So if I have anything pop up that seems random, I take it to heart and I realize, okay, this is my higher self communicating with me, and this is something that needs to be done.
Mhm. I can see your cat moving.
I know,
Sorry.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
it's okay. I love cats. So that's a really interesting way to look at that because sometimes whenever I'm meditating, I try to focus on my breath or I try to focus on the sounds and noises around me to calm my brain. And I think part of it is my blah, 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 blah brain. But then the other part of it really is like hearing. You know what I mean? And it's like talking to yourself through your own thoughts. Because something I read in one of the multiple books that I've read, it said that you are a drop in the ocean of universal love. Like you are just one little tiny piece, but you are still in the ocean. So you can, all your thoughts are straight from this universal intelligence because where else would they come from? Like you don't just make them up.
Yeah,
I mean, some
right. They're
some are
definitely
fear based, but the
right,
good
and then
ones.
they're definitely and they're definitely from the collective, and you can kind of tell the difference because the ones that are the fear based, those are the ones that are worry, that are anxiety, the
Mhm.
ones that you're like,
Mhm.
I need to get this, and this done. And,
Mhm.
you got that mental list, but the ones that come from your higher self come from a place of love and peace. And you don't feel, anxious with them.
Mhm.
It'd be like, hey, you should go do this. And you're like, okay, this is different than my grocery list that I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Of the worries. Yeah. I totally understand that. Because it truly is like a I feel like the fear-based ones are more erratic and just like
Hmm.
pop through your brain and if you're walking down the street it'll be like, "Who's that guy? What is that? Is this okay?" But then your actual intellect and the universal power and knowledge is just more like everything is okay and you are
Hmm.
okay. I feel like it's more just like a loving like hug and just like it's fine, you know?
Yeah.
So, how long have you been doing tarot card readings and letters from the universe?
So I've actually been reading for a little over 10 years. I
Oh
was
my gosh.
introduced. I know it doesn't feel like that long, but when I think back on it, it started my freshman year of high school. Um, I was in this class where I thought I was alone, and the teacher asked us to pair up with people from our grades.
Mhm.
There's only one other girl in there, and her name's Gabby. Love her, still my best friend.
Mhm.
And she kind of sensed I was nervous, and she's like, "Let me do this for you. It's super cool." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh, read your
Never
tarot
had,
cards?
right, yeah. I had never been like around tarot or anything before, and she pulled them out of her backpack and she pulled a card for me, and it like explained my day perfectly. And ever since then I was hooked. So her and I would, go through our years together, and we'd just be pulling cards left and right whenever something would happen, and
Mhm.
we'd read like the little baby definitions that were in the book for our readings. So it'd be like new beginnings or ambition, like not
Just
even
like
like
two
real readings
words.
at all. Right, just two words here and there. And as we grew up, we kind of grew up with the cards and understanding the deeper meanings behind them.
Mhm.
So tarot has actually gotten me through a lot of my dark times in life. Um, and I never stopped reading. I got older and I got more into it. I realized that not a lot of people know about it, and not a lot of people realize that this could be a good like tool to help them get through their day. Like how I am a spiritual advisor, people need that.
Mhm. It's like reading your horoscope, I feel like.
Exactly. People need that map in their life to
Mhm.
help them,
I
something
feel
that
like
comes from a place of love.
yes, it's so much easier when you can tell yourself like, "Oh, I'm going to have a good day." But if you can read it on a card that says like it's for like your sign specifically or, it's for you, you're like, "That's right. I'm going to have a good day. My card says I'm going to have a good day."
Right. Right. And then 2019, I decided I was gonna kind of show the world that I do tarot. I kept it secret for so long just because I kind of grew up in a very religious household that frowned upon it.
Mm,
So
understandable.
2019 started on a Tuesday. So I was like, let's do Tarot Tuesdays. Let's show everyone that I read these cards, and that, I want to read for other people. And
Mhm.
the universe, our letters started there. So I
Mhm.
started writing to people what the universe wanted to say to them so they could
Mhm.
get some answers to, what's going on with their goals and their dreams and what paths they should take.
Mhm. How did your family take it? Like how did the people around you take it whenever you started coming out and reading all these cards for like people?
My friends are very supportive.
Mhm.
A lot of them, like yourself, have donated to the cause and have gotten readings and stuff. My family, though, was a little apprehensive. I They kind of still take it as a joke.
Oh.
So I told them, I was like, I have work tonight. I'm doing this interview. It's gonna be super cool. And they're like, I want to interview you, but
Oh no. It's gonna blow up. It's gonna be the
right.
biggest thing, and they're gonna feel rude.
But they try to support me the best that they can. I mean, they don't really understand it too much. They never got into this realm, but I
Mhm.
mean, I would love to share it with them one day.
I know what you mean. Like sometimes whenever I talk to my mom kind of gets astrology more now. She's getting it, but like if I try to talk to my sister circa like a year ago about universal stuff, she's like, "Really?
Yeah.
Try. Stop. I don't know." Like okay, but she has come around to it, so that's really
Mhm.
awesome.
I feel you.
Oh well.
Hmm.
This is gonna be a really good podcast. I've had, I had really good signs. I was seeing, I was manifesting and visualizing more money and abundance into my life.
Hmm.
And I think I might have told you this, but I saw Mercedes are my money sign. And
Okay.
like if I see Mercedes, like all in Thailand, when I was in Thailand and I was like trying to manifest and trying to like get a sign from the universe, the sign in Thailand was Mercedes because I lived on an island. So there are only a certain set amount of Mercedes on that island. And without a doubt, anytime I'd even say like, universe, blah blah blah. I'd be on the back of the bike, just riding along, and there's a Mercedes. or like a butterfly would fly right across my face. Even
Yeah.
simple things like, universe, I've been really bad with my food lately. Should I stop and get a boba tea? And then a butterfly would go, and I'm like, I guess I should get a boba.
I love it.
Yeah. So the rest of the signs, I saw a Mercedes. I went to go shut the blinds, and there was a Mercedes. Like, we live in an intersection, like in a neighborhood, and the Mercedes was just sitting in the center of it, just sitting there. And I like looked at it. I was like, "You good, bro?" And then they drove away. I was like, I was just meant to see it. That's all it was.
Yeah, it was like, look at me.
For reals, because I walked over there just to shut the blinds, pet my cat, and I was like, "What's that? It's a car."
You went to
Okay.
go pet your cat.
Yeah, I think that my cat is one of my signs too. My sister thinks that my cat is my great grandma reincarnated.
Okay.
Timelines, they could match up depending on how fast people reincarnate. 'Cause my grandma passed in 2011, like February, Super Bowl Sunday actually, and then my cat was born in May of 2012. So
There you go.
I don't know how fast things are supposed to reincarnate, but
So they say that like people get put into this queue. I guess I don't know too much. I don't know. Let me just,
this is speculation. We don't know.
So they say supposedly that when you pass away, that you go up to, okay. So it's this huge theory. There's a lot to this, so bear with me, okay?
And it's also like a mix of like, what do I believe in, like from my previous religion? What do I believe? What does this religion believe?
It's a lot. So we all came from a different planet, dimension, time period, like whatever you want to call it, right? And I mean, we all kind of across the board kind of agree that we were in a different place than Earth before we were born. And as you choose to come to Earth, so then you're born here to live out this experience. Well, they say when you die, you get kind of placed into this like queue of where you say, I want to do Earth again or I don't. And if you say, I want to do Earth again, that was such a cool experience, I can learn more, you can choose how you want to like learn. So you have all your past memories. So you can be like, oh, I know that my family is getting older and they're going to need help. So I want to come back as this and be put back in their pathways around this time to really help them.
Oh.
Or you can come back as a brand new person and just build more loving connections. So you kind of have a choice.
That's incredible.
So your grandma could have been waiting in that queue to the moment where she knew you were going to need that cat later on in life to then kind of walk you through what's next.
She's been with me. I got her when she was 3 years old. She had been adopted 3 times and returned each time back to that shelter. And I lived in Mesa, and I went all the way up to North Phoenix to a shelter to go get her. And it was like love at first head bump because I opened up the little cage to pet her, and she just came right out. And then I tried to pick her up, and she was like, "Get off of me! What do you think you're off?" But you can touch my head. And I was like, okay, it's all whatever. And I actually had to take her home on like a sleepover, like a spend the night thing to test her out. And I was looking at her and a kitten, and I actually had written the kitten's name down to take her home. And then I was like, this doesn't feel right. And I was like, you know what? This cat is 3. There's more of a chance of this kitten getting adopted than this cat. The kitten was so cute, and I was like, you know what? I don't want a kitten though. I don't want to do it. I don't want to deal with a cat.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, so I scratched out the name and I wrote, her name is Sloane. It was hideous. I changed it to Joni, much cuter.
Much cuter.
And so I took her home. I put her in the box, and she was the lady, when she handed it to me, she said, now be careful, because she was not happy going in that box. She doesn't like boxes, I feel like, because she's been returned so many times, and it makes her sad. But she was quiet the whole way home, and I just talked to her. It was like 2-hour drive because it was like 6 p.m. And then as soon as I opened up the little lid, she's all, hey, this is great. She jumped out and started exploring my apartment. And I was like, well, just make herself at home, Kit Kat.
Cute.
Story of JoJo Beans. And I digress back. Second sign of the day. My TikTok has been blown up lately. And not ginormous, but it's getting there. So I had
I'm gonna
like
learn a TikTok dance.
I learned one. I just didn't do it. It's the one where it's like Gwen Stefani and the Beyonce mashup. You know, I'm gonna do it because
Okay.
I can do it. I used to dance. I danced for like solid decade of like tap and jazz and a little bit of ballet and stuff.
Ooh,
Yes, I was very cute in my
in a
tutus.
minute.
Did you do? You said you did them?
I did ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, and then we ended up moving out here.
Mhm.
And when I moved out here, I signed up to dance through like my school,
Yeah.
and then I did color guard too.
Oh, I like color guard. Did you baton twirl?
No, our school didn't have that.
Lame.
Flags,
Not in mine.
rifles, you know, the fun stuff.
Um, and I digress again. So my TikTok's been looking real good lately, and my lucky number is 7. So the night before that, I was manifesting my money. I was like, okay, how much money do I want? And I was saying like, I want $7,000. I was like, okay, why? And I said, don't question it. You like 7. 7's your lucky number. And I thought 777 in my head. It just popped across like a slot machine. And I was like, oh, okay, okay, sounds good. So I just was like, 7 grand. That's what I want. It's what's going to come to me. I know it. I feel it. These things are coming. And you know, you start raising up your energy and you're like getting on that level. You're like, yeah, this is coming.
Yeah.
I know it. I feel confident. And so then the next day I get onto my TikTok and I looked and I have 777 followers. I was like, look at that. My numerology. Now it's more, but it was cool. I
I love
screenshotted
that.
it. Speaking of numerology, Garrett has been having a ridiculous amount of numerology sequences popping up. He keeps seeing 434, 343, 43.
Really.
Yeah, just he has at
So
least 50 screenshots of it.
so funny. Um, threes typically, I mean, okay, so they're different for everyone. It kind of goes into like a whole thing, like numbers mean certain things to you versus kind of like the structural that they mean.
Mhm.
But like most of the time when tarot when threes come up, it's usually like around teamwork. So it could be like collaborating or leaning on someone for support, things like that. And usually fours in numerology mean your life path, like what you're destined to do.
Mhm.
So if he's seeing those on like his games and stuff, like I not his games, but like his live streams of his video games and whatnot,
Mhm.
that's what he's meant to be doing right now, and he should probably start collabing with someone about it.
That's awesome. Oh, I'm so excited to tell him that. He's been like trying to research what it means and he said something like his angels are watching him and encouraging him
Well,
on that
that
path and stuff.
that's usually anytime you see synchronicity in numbers, it's like your angels or your higher self or whatever you call them. It's their way of getting you to notice.
Mhm.
And then a lot of time it's more like, what are you thinking about at that moment that you see it? Is kind of like what that sign means. But if
Mhm.
you don't remember, then you kind of go back to basics, which could be collaborations and like life paths. So it'd be interesting to see if where he's seeing these numbers are on the videos where you live stream with him.
That's true. He's been seeing them on a lot of TikToks. He'll pause a video and it'll be stuck on 343 or somebody came into his chat whose name was like I don't know, Iceman 434 and he was like, "What?
Yeah.
Hello." So, he's been having a ton and I think that's awesome. I'm going to tell him that. I'm very excited. Okay, so when you say you write letters to the universe, explain to everybody what you mean and how you do it.
Okay. Um, so I write you a letter as if it's the universe speaking to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I will kind of think, I'll be like, all right, what does Cheyenne need to know right now? What does the universe want to tell her? What does her higher self want to tell her? Like, let's go. And I'll start shuffling and I'll pull out cards and then I'll interpret that and then I'll write it up in like a legit letter format, like snail mail, like, Dear Cheyenne,
I'm going to go
here's the
get my
message.
letter.
Love the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I can email them. Most people do emails, or I can send them physically through the mail, which I think is the most fun.
Yeah. The first letter that you sent me had me sitting on my couch just crying. Legitimate tears. I'm gonna go get it actually.
So it's so funny. The day I thought about doing those letters, I was walking through TJ Maxx on my lunch break, and I
Mhm.
was like, I saw them. They caught my eye. It was like a stationery set, and I was like, "Oh, Bailey, you don't need that. Like, put it back. Like, you're just buying stuff at TJ Maxx just to buy
Who
whatever."
doesn't love to just buy stuff at TJ Maxx though? I mean, honestly.
I know no one like pays attention. They're just like filling the cart.
I have jade
So
rollers from TJ Maxx. So I'm like, I should get it. It's good for my skin.
so I put them down, and then I went to like walk out, and I had saw them on my way out, and I was like, all right, I hear you. I'm gonna grab them and I'm gonna go. And then as I took them home, my husband saw them and he's like, why do you need to write letters? No one writes letters anymore. And I was like, I don't know, I just needed them. He's like, wouldn't it be cool if you like wrote tarot letters? And I was like, oh my
Ding.
god, you're right.
That is awesome. I love that. Like you're like, I don't know why I want to get these, but I'm gonna get them, and then just ideas come. I love
It's
that.
like your boba tea. Like, should I get a boba?
Mhm.
Like, should I buy the stationery set?
Look at how cute this is, and then on the inside, she had this letter, and then she had this beautiful thing. This is my love letter from the universe. And I love her handwriting, by the way. I think it's so cute.
Oh my gosh, thanks.
So my letters, I'm not gonna read it all because it'll make me cry again. But it really is. So she has this whole page, and then a whole second page just filled. And so she asks these questions along the lines of, says, starts it off, I asked the universe 4 questions and pulled 1 card for each. So she's asked, where is Cheyenne right now? Where is she at in her life? And then she pulled the card and explained it. And the question 2 is, what is Cheyenne's next step? And the third question says, what does Cheyenne need to know? And the fourth question is, where will this lead her? And this came March 21st of 2019, and it could not have came at a better time. It was a time that I was chosen. I chose in January of 2019 to drop out of nursing school to pursue my modeling career against my family's wishes. Like, I mean, I moved from Arizona to Texas to go to nursing school, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. It was something in my gut. It was just like, it's not what you want. You want more than that. And I was a nursing assistant for 4 years, and it was like, it was a great time. It was a great experience, and I love the medical community, but it's not what I wanted. And this was just such a great thing. I sleep with it. It's legitimately on my bedside table whenever I sleep because it makes me so happy to know that the universe truly does have my back and wants the best for me. Makes me cry. So
I'm so flattered that it meant that much to you. Sometimes
yes.
you kind of get lost in the grind. Like, there's been plenty of days where I'm like, why am I still doing this? Like, I feel like people don't care as much as what I have to say. Kind of like just my own ego getting to me. Like,
Well,
no
the
one
only
wants
thing
to hear you speak, you know?
I will interrupt you and say, don't ever freaking say that again. Because I want to hear it. I don't care if I'm your only customer for the next 60 years, Bailey. Don't you ever freaking stop. Please and thank you. And lots of people care about what you have to say because it is fantastic.
So just hearing that feedback means so much to me. So thank you.
You're welcome. I have 2 cards from
Yes,
the universe,
you
2 letters,
do.
but one I got when I was in Thailand, so she emailed it to me. But it's basically the same thing, same expression of just. It feels truly like it's she's like a medium from the universe. How mediums speak to spirits, it's she can hear what the universe has to say and give it to you in writing, and it brings peace and calmness and excitement that you're like, yes, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and you just feel fantastic. So highly recommend you guys get your own reading from Bailey, and you can follow her here. Make sure you follow this. Okay, so earlier I was like kind of spewing a little bit. We didn't touch much about signs, like our signs from the universe. So, what are the signs that you ask for or that you see frequently?
So I asked for repeating numbers, like 111, 222, 333. Any repeating numbers, I'm open to all of them. Universe, just keep them coming.
Now, whenever you see them, do you interpret it like, okay, give me some repeating numbers to help me through this, and then if it says 444, then you go, okay, 4 means this, or do you just take the literal like, oh, I saw repeating numbers? Does that make sense?
kind of yeah, I get what you're saying. It kind of depends on what I'm going through. So if I'm like deciding to make a last minute Target run pre-virus, like just to hang out, and I see repeating numbers, I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be there. There's someone I'm supposed to meet. Like our interaction's gonna change their day, type of thing. But if I'm like really trying to manifest something, then I'll be like, all right, universe, show me the numbers that I need to see, and then they'll be constant. They'll be every time I look at the clock, 11:11 or 12:12, 4:44, like anytime I think about that subject. So like right now, I want a house. I'm trying to manifest a house. So anytime I happen to get an email from like a lender, it's like at 4:44 or 5:55. So it's just the universe knows I like numbers. They send them. Another sign that I have is bumblebees. So anytime that I'm out doing something and I see like a bumblebee fly by, I know like, all right, I'm on the right path. I'm supposed to be doing this. It's like my wedding day. There's bumblebees everywhere. My friends are pointing them out, and they're like, "Look, it's your sign everywhere."
That is so sweet.
It was super cute. And then my last sign is actually a song called "High Hopes" from Panic at the Disco.
I love that song.
When I was going through learning about the law of attraction stuff, I heard that song like air on the radio, like maybe the same day, maybe the same week, like around that time period. And I was like, he is literally talking about the law of attraction in this song. There's no way he's not.
I got chills. So, I love that.
Now, every time I hear it, I'm like, all right, let's raise our energy, let's raise our vibrations. Like, good things are coming.
Exactly. I love that song, to be honest. That's one of my favorite car jam songs to be dancing to. And I feel like it's always super comforting to not only get like intuition feelings, but then you're like, universe, can you just please send me a bumblebee? Let me know that you hear me. And then all of a sudden there's a bee. You're like, there's no way that's a coincidence.
Right.
I love that. My signs that I typically will ask for are butterflies, cats, the breeze. Like if I'm sitting outside and all of a sudden it starts getting super windy, just coincidentally, it's not a coincidence. It's the universe trying to talk to me. Oh my gosh. So we got butterflies, cats, the breeze, raccoons. Cannot forget about raccoons. I haven't used raccoons in a while because there's like none out here. But whenever I lived in Tyler, raccoons were my thing. Like, okay, so if it's a breezy day, I don't. Oh, blue jays. That's my other one. That's been recent, like because we have a ton of them around here. My thing with signs from the universe is don't go asking to see a blue whale because I mean, obviously you won't see the actual animal, but you can see like the universe will send you maybe like a blue whale ad or like a picture of a blue whale on the side of a bus or something like that, but they're not going to send you an actual blue whale dropped out of the sky. Here's your sign. So I try to pick things that, whenever I lived in Tyler, I had seen raccoons before. The very first time last year when I started to really get into manifesting and my spiritual journey, I was reading The Secret. Garrett got me The Secret for Christmas, and I was kind of a little ungrateful, and I was like, why did he give me a book? Like, really? You got me a book? Okay, well, I'll read it if it's really that important to you that you get it for me for Christmas. And I got to the part where she started saying about the guy in New York who he wanted to manifest something, and he's like, I'm gonna manifest a feather. And this feather is gonna be blue. It's gonna have spots on it. It's gonna have all these different intricate things. I'm gonna visualize it, manifest it. This feather is coming. I know it is. And the guy said that he was just walking about his day, doing his thing, about to walk into his office, and he looks down, and there's that feather. that he manifested under his foot. And I read that. I was like, well, holy shit. If this book is talking about it and this book is publicizing this thing, then, I mean, what does it hurt for me to try? So I was like, okay, what do I have around here that I have seen and it gets me excited when I see it and it's noticeable? Because you can't say a squirrel, because damn, there are 5,000 squirrels in the square mile here. So I was like, a raccoon. Okay, I want to see a raccoon. And I know that signs, they don't come instantaneous. Sometimes they do, like the breeze, but this was when I was very first starting, so I was kind of like on the lookout, and I found, when you're on the lookout, if you say, send me some raccoons. Hello? Hello, raccoons, where are you at? Like, you're not going to see them. It doesn't work like that. So I was working as a waitress and a bartender, and I manifested raccoons super hard before my shift. I mean, I laid down full visualization on my bed, like, oh, like trying so hard to connect because I'd never done it before. And I drove to work, didn't see anything, almost because I was looking for it. And on my drive home, I turned on to one of the last streets before I got home, and I was car dancing and singing, like, just vibing so hard and being so genuinely happy and putting like this good energy out there. And it literally like clicked in my head that something was about to happen. As I was driving down the street, I hit the stop sign, was like up and up feelings, and as soon as I started going from the stop sign, 2 raccoons ran in front of me and stopped in the middle of the road. I hit my brakes. I said, oh my God, the raccoons. And those raccoons, they didn't just stop. The one lady in the front, I'm assuming it was a lady, the lady kept going, but then the one stopped and just kind of looked at me and was like, you called? You asked? I'm here now. I'm going to go now. But you see me, right? Because he just, in the middle of the street, just stopped and stared at me. And I was like, oh, wow. And after that, I was like a manifesting fool. I'd think about it, and I think I saw raccoons per manifesto, like, I'm thinking and I want to see them at least like 6 times after that, because it would be like on my way home. So it took me about 15 minutes. So I'd get in my car and I'm like, I want to see some raccoons. I want to do it. And I'd say, okay, well, you can't just ask. Give me some raccoons. The universe is going to be like, but why? So I'd be like, am I supposed to do this? Just something. Am I supposed to eat spaghetti for dinner? Something just tiny. But I wanted to test it out. And I would. And there it would be. Just like this one time after I got home, I went to go turn off the front porch light or something like that, and I just so happened to look through the front window, and right as I looked through the front window, mind you, I pulled in, got out my car, like I pulled in the garage, got out, and went around the house, so it was like within a minute that I was back out in the front yard, and I looked out in the front yard, and there was a raccoon in my, like across the street at my neighbor's house on their front porch. They had like a cat bed and stuff, and then the raccoon was just sitting on it. He's like, hey. Heard you called. So I'm gonna sit right here. So it's just been a big manifesting, like just asking for signs is one of the best and easiest ways. And like I said, like if you have to believe that you're gonna get it, and if you don't look for it, they come to you. As soon as your thought drifts away from where's my sign to it's gonna come, it'll pop up like immediately after that. And songbirds.
Yeah.
I love songbirds. And so it's like if I'm sitting outside and I'm reading my book or I'm trying to connect and I'm like, okay, universe, I need to know if I'm doing XYZ right or something. Almost immediately a breeze will come through. Or a blue jay will land like right on my patio, or the songbirds will start tweeting off and stuff. So asking for signs, people, that's what you want to do. You want to ask for a sign because you shall receive.
Yes.